In this video, we will see how to create this colorful sequence diagram using SketchUp. This is the actual image. It's a work of Anthony Nische submitted for a competition called Project Unbuild conducted by Upstairs. This is my take on how we can create a sequence diagram similar to this. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Let's open a new SketchUp file and start modeling the basic forms of the sequence diagram, starting from the existing site demarcation to the final design proposal. You don't have to detail it. It's better if you sketch before you start modeling to have a clear idea of what the sequence will be and how many stages will the sequence diagram have. For me, it's different. I'm just trying to replicate the sequence of the original diagram. One more thing to keep in mind is that leave any infographics or elements like arrows and stuff for now. They can be added later in Photoshop. The things to be included are only the elements that explain your design process, how you took the design from point A to point B. The idea for me is not to replicate the whole building inch by inch, but to get the overall essence of it, so that we can see how to present these in the form of sequence diagram. Once all the sequence pieces are done, make them as individual groups. Now let's start modeling the context. I am just adding buildings roughly. You guys can do that according to your site context or even get the 3D data from CAD Mapper or any other similar websites. I also added the water body which was seen in the original image. After this, the modeling part is done. I dragged one sequence image into Photoshop to extract the colors from the diagram, to create individual maps of the exact color palette. You can follow this method to extract colors from a reference image that you have, or you can go to colors.co. Here you can generate color palette within seconds. You can toggle through palettes using spacebar. You can also copy the color code directly and use it in any software. Now let's bring these colors inside SketchUp using the maps that we created. Click on Create Material and this folder icon. Then load the color map that you want and click OK. Apply it to the respective portion. Repeat this process to create new materials with different color maps and apply it to the model. I am also saving a scene in the Scenes toolbar. Go to View and turn on Shadows and play with its position in the Shadows toolbar. Once you are happy, update the scene. For the planes which I want to be translucent, I create a new material with its opacity reduced a bit so that I remember it later when I am rendering. Then I applied the materials for all the sequence blocks. For the trees in the diagram, I wanted to create some Face Me components in SketchUp. I used these trees from pimpmydrawing.com. I overlaid a solid color layer and clipped it to the PNG. Hit Ctrl I or Command I in Mac to invert the PNG. Change the blending mode of the solid color to screen. Then I repeated the same process with few other trees and exported them all as PNGs. Next step is to make each one of them as Face Me component in SketchUp. You can download this whole pack of SketchUp components for free from our store. I will make sure to drop the link in the description. I have explained in detail how to use this pack to its full potential and create illustrations like this inside SketchUp in this video. Watch the video after this one. I brought in these components into the main SketchUp file and started placing them. We can scale them ununiformly to create different versions of the same component. After placing the trees, let's start to render them. Go to the scene we saved. Then click on V-Ray Asset Editor. In the Settings tab, change the quality to Low Plus and go to the Light tab and apply these values for sunlight. Hit Render to see a test render. If you are happy with the result, go to the Settings tab and apply these settings before rendering a high quality image. Then save the image wherever you want. I had to place trees and people in the final block of the diagram. I started adding some level of detail to it, then started populating it with the trees. I also brought in some people from the pack that you just downloaded and placed them accordingly. Then start placing each blocks one by one in the context and start rendering them. For the surfaces which I want to be translucent, I applied these settings. Now it's just a repetitive process to render all the blocks. After saving all the renders, I brought them into Photoshop into a square composition. Now we can start adding any infographics or 2D elements needed to explain each stage. These images can be composed along with text in any sheet size. This is the final result. Hope you all found something useful in this video. See you in the next one.